First time I remember using a computer is in 5th grade. We used to play this little game called Oregon Trail on the computer. It was basically made up of little green lines, a little wagon that moved when you use the arrow keys, but that's the first time I ever remember being on a computer.
First time I remember using a computer was probably in the mid to late 80s, and it was our home computer, but I don't remember using one in like elementary school or anything.
First time I remember using a computer was in the early 80s, and it was a work-related PC.
I do not feel that the computer is having a negative effect on children's education. It's very educational, a lot of the things they're doing. And now they're coming out with stuff that gets a kid up in front of a computer, like a Wii or something, a computer kind of like thing. It's also giving them more physical activity instead of it just a game.
I think the one drawback may be using the video games, and which are great, but still the physical activity, getting out and doing what young kids should do as far as getting out, getting exercise. That may be somewhat of a drawback as far as being tied to a computer throughout the day. Kids coming home from school and immediately watching video games after school and through the evening, and perhaps their other schoolwork may take a backseat to that, or the lack of physical activity.
I'm gonna, if it's okay, add to that. I think maybe it's not the computer that's the issue, it's supervision that's the issue.
Sure.
Maybe it's made parents lazy because they have a permanent babysitter, whereas the computer's making the children smarter, but because the adults aren't forcing them to go outside and do stuff, then that's creating the issue. Maybe more so than us blaming the computer, we should probably look in other directions. I feel that the computers are having an effect on society and how we interact. I think it's harder today to find people that can interact socially like they used to be able to. There was no computer back a long time ago, and so you had to be able to get out to meet people, to do business. Everything was face-to-face or over the phone. There was no hiding behind a computer screen or typed letters or messages. Even in high school, I'd say text messaging. I mean, it's easy to be a bully in text messages, whereas if you had to do it face-to-face, it's not so easy. So I think it's having a severe effect on how we're communicating and how interactions today are.
Maybe not so much our generation, because we were forced to kind of talk to people in high school and stuff. But kids nowadays, I think that they're constantly texting one another instead of actually talking to one another. I mean, I've seen it where like their friend's sitting right next to them, instead of having a conversation, they're sitting there texting back and forth. Or, you can go out to eat and you can see a family and half of them are on their smartphones.
I don't think that the use of computers is out of control. I think that the people using the computer, it's just like anything else, it has to be moderated, it has to be done the right way, and you have to know where the computer stands in your life and not make it run your life. I think that if everyone would have a good balance between what needs to be done and how things should be done and where computer fits into their life, I think that the use of computers been amazing. I mean, I don't think half of technology would be possible today, and the things that we can do now can't be done without computers. So I don't think we're too reliant upon them. I just think we need to be careful about how much we let them run our lives.
I think we are pretty reliant on them, but I think that they're very helpful, because I think if they're used in the right way, that you can really use it as a multitasking tool. There's so many things you can get done where, like the online banking thing, before we used to actually have to go to the bank or always write checks or whatnot, and now all that can be done online. Also, you can nowadays, if you wanted to record a show, you can do it from the computer or even your smartphone or whatever. It's just, I think as far as multitasking, it's a lot easier. So I guess I would think of it as the ability to do a bunch of things all at one time and then still leave room for family and friends and stuff like that.
I don't believe we have become too dependent on computers. Having probably the first 2/3 of my life not having a computer, and the last third relying upon a computer. I certainly would not want to go back to the way it was prior to not having the computers. Certainly, computers have made our life a lot simpler than what it used to be, and as long as we have a good balance and use the computer for its intended purpose, I think they're great.